Since TikTok has faded to fade away, I'm going to spill some tea about a significant problem that afflicts the publishing world. The occasion of this was an article that was published in New York Magazine this morning, written by Ella Shapiro. And it delves further into the allegations against Neil Gaiman. And it is bad. It is extremely bad. This article is very well sourced, lots of credible evidence showing that Neil Gaiman engaged in sexual assault, gaslighting, manipulation, unfettered sexual violence against his fans and against people who looked up to him. What this article can't tell you, and there's a reason for that, is that many people looked the other way. Why? Because Neil Gaiman made money for the publishers. And the one thing you do not do in the publishing world is speak out against superstar authors. And I'm going to tell you a personal story, a story that led and contributed to a mental breakdown and a suicide attempt 10 years ago in 2014. In 2014, I learned that someone had been victimized. And I tried to help this person. And for doing so, I started receiving threatening phone calls and emails from people in high places. And it took just 6 to 9 months for these people to orchestrate a character assassination campaign against me founded on lies and canards. And I was not in the best place at the time mentally. I was dealing with my grandmother dying. And I was completely smeared by the publishing world. They took this opportunity to take me out because I was an independent journalist who they couldn't control. And I'm still shit-talked to this very day. People view me as a toxic, volatile monster. I'm not. I'm a very well-adjusted guy. I mean, my TikToks are really theatrical, but this is why victims do not speak out. There's been a whisper network for young women who work in the publishing industry about certain big names, but the publishers are more interested in profiting off of their authors than reckoning with their abusive behavior. And I wish I could tell you their names, but I can't. Some of these people have won major awards. Some of these people have had their books turned into movies, and they are abusers. And the publishing world knows this. The people very high up know this, and they will do everything they can to protect their profit line. I can't tell you what people have told me. 1, because I don't burn sources. 2, because I don't want to ever cause these victims further exposure. They're already dealing with enough. They already quietly and silently work within the publishing industry and keep their head down because they know that the minute they say that a superstar author has abused them, they're going to lose their career. They're going to lose everything. That is the system. And any author or journalist who speaks out against this is targeted by the people in power. It's no different from any other industry. It's why abusive predators get away with this fucking shit. And thankfully they got Neil Gaiman. I was able to get Blake Bailey. I was able to get him, and I coordinated with another journalist when I reported that story to make sure, he had some evidence and I had some evidence, and we timed our stories to run together. Then the New York Times picked it up, and boom, we got him. We allowed this guy to be exposed. But hey, he's got a fucking book that Skyhorse is publishing in April because the publishing world does not give a fuck about authors who sexually assault people, authors who groom people, authors who rape people. They do not give a fuck about this. And anyone who speaks out is instantly targeted. I was targeted. Other people have been targeted, not so publicly. Privately. There's a lot of private fucking shit that goes on. I've had emails forwarded to me. These motherfuckers only care about protecting abusers. And Neil Gaiman is just the tip of the iceberg. There are many out there. And we can't do anything because the minute we speak up, we are completely shit on and impugned. And there are a lot of people who are unknowingly caught up in this. They don't understand that they're being fucking used and manipulated by people in power. And books is just one sphere where this happens. And in 2014, when there was a character assassination campaign against me, I had a mental breakdown. I was in the best mental space back then. I nearly killed myself. And thank goodness I didn't, because my life has been great. But I have steered clear from publishing because this is the reality. I will probably never, ever be able to publish a book because I dared to speak out. And I've got the fucking writing chops. Believe me. Believe me. I've had so many people, editors, just love my fucking writing talent. And still do to this very day. And I've had, even when what happened to me happened, I had a few people, big authors who encouraged me to keep on going. But I'm telling you that this is the reality in books, and it's certainly the reality in other industries. Abusive men are protected by people in power. That is capitalism in a nutshell. Look the other way. The big shots will never, ever face consequences, whether they be Donald Trump or, well, maybe Neil Gaiman. Will he come back? I'm pretty sure he will. I'm pretty sure that he will, much in the same way that Louis C.K. came back and won a fucking Grammy. This is the fucking world we live in, and it needs to be remedied. Women should never have to fear for their fucking safety. And journalists and authors who speak out against this epidemic should not be impugned. They should be listened to. And they're not. Instead, they are declared pariahs. And while I've been very fortunate to survive this suicide attempt and expose one of these monsters, I love writing. I really fucking love writing. And I can only do that through an independent mechanism now, which is fine. I accept that. If it means that I was able to help women, that to me is worth the sacrifice of what I was never able to do professionally because I spoke out. And here's the thing. When you try to tell other people, hey, they're talking shit about you, they then turn on you. They've got this fucking thing honed to a science. They will never, ever allow these victims to seek redress against their abusers because these abusers make them a lot of money. And it's a completely sick and depraved system that really drastically needs reform. Me Too, that should have gone a lot fucking further.